What's up, fight fans? Welcome to Triple THS, brought to you by Kountermove Fantasy MMA at Kountermove.com. I'm the direct-to-DVD sequel of Mixed Martial Arts, Tommy Toehold. Today, my UFC 179 Kountermove Picks. Let's do this shit! You can finally stop the shakes, fight fans, because after damn near 3 weeks without the UFC, we are finally getting another fucking card. The UFC is headed to Brazil, and oh shit, two of the most dominant featherweights in the history of ever, Jose Aldo and Chad Mendes, are gonna rematch for the strap. Team Alpha Male taking on Nova União, Glover and Mr. Wonderful. Fabio Maldonado's probably gonna get his face all fucked up. Conor McGregor is gonna be sitting in the front row, and I'll be damned if he doesn't hop in the cage after the main event and call somebody basic. That alone is worth the pay-per-view. Bottom line, fight fans, you're like a crack addict, and you're fiending after 3 weeks, you're gonna get this pay-per-view. Your neighbor is gonna get it, shit, your mom is probably gonna get it. So why not spice this card up with a dash of pure fucking awesome and hop in a fantasy MMA game at Kountermove.com. Tommy, I don't get fantasy MMA. I'm not sure who to pick on the card. What is the internet? Stop. The internet is the thing you're using right now, and not only am I going to teach you how to play, I'm also going to go over every fucking fight on this whole card Saturday, because I love the shit out of all of you. The first thing you're going to want to do is head to Kountermove.com. When you get there, you're going to notice this smoking hot distance running superwoman, Natasha Wicks. Give your eyes a few minutes to adjust, and then take a look at the games Kountermove offers below. There's big games, there's small games, free games, custom games. It's the Burger King of fantasy MMA. Fucking have it your way. The game I want to play is the one with my goofy ass name on it. The big money tourney, 25 bucks gets you in, top 100 payout, and the winner's walking home with 3 fucking G's. That's right, $3,000. Do you know how many soft tacos that buys you at Taco Bell? Do you have any fucking idea? It's 2,752, fight fans. Or 2013 if you get the Supreme Soft Taco. The point is, it's a bunch of fucking money. Once you pick your game, you're gonna be brought to the team selection page. Fight fans, this is not Vegas. We're not looking for straight picks. You're not working with a spread. This is a fantasy game, just like fantasy football, which means you need points to win, and points come from performance, not straight picks. The name of the game is speed. You want fighters who are gonna win big and win fast. A first round KO should net you a fuck ton more points than a decision where your fighter took a nap on top of his opponent for the whole fight. You got $25,000 for $10 to pick a team of 5 fighters. Your fighters kick ass, you rack up points, you win. That is it. It is not brain surgery that involves an understanding of rockets. So knowing we're looking for big stops real fast, let's take a look at the matchups for Saturday night and decide who it is that's gonna give us what we're looking for. First up, we've got Neil Magny and William Massario, aka Padalino. Padalino has a high finish rate with lots of KOs, but doesn't have a ton of MMA experience. The majority of Magny's wins come via decision, so there's a good chance he will not finish the fight, and with the 5,300 price tag, he's a pick I would avoid. If you're feeling a little bit nuts though, Padalino could be a steal at 4,300 with a quick KO. Next up, we've got Beneil Dariush taking on Diego Ferreira. Ferreira is white hot, unbeaten, has a decent finish rate. If Dariush is gonna win, it's probably gonna be via sub based on past performances. The problem with that is, Ferreira is a ground wizard with a second-degree black belt. The question you gotta ask yourself in this one, fight fans, is whether Ferreira can win fast enough on the ground with another experienced jiu-jitsu practitioner to make him worth the $5,400 that you're gonna have to pay to put him on your team. I think this one is too risky. Avoid it if you can. Next up, we move to the co-main event where Phil Davis is taking on Glover Teixeira. Glover's got a high finish rate and pre-JBJ was looking pretty fucking Tyson circa 89. But Phil Davis is a very high-level guy. They're both coming off losses, so it's hard to say how they'll bounce back. The problem with this one, though, is that if Davis wins, it'll probably be a decision. And even though he struggled with a heavy-handed striker like Rumble, he still didn't get finished. Glover's not worth the price because Davis will probably take him 3, and if Mr. Wonderful pulls off the win, there's a good chance he's gonna take it the distance. I know Glover's a killer, but it's a trap. Avoid this fight. Next, we got Felipe Arantes and Andre Touchy-Feely. Both fighters have a high finish rate. You'll probably want to pick on this one, especially considering they're both pretty cheap. Their stats are pretty even, but Feely lands about twice as many significant strikes per minute, and he trains at Team Alpha Male. I think Feely wins, and he gets a stop early. After that, we have Black Zillion Gilbert Burns taking on Christos Giagos. Another fight with high finish rates on both sides, roughly the same amount of experience, although not with the UFC for Giagos. The deciding factor here will be Burns' BJJ black belt, because both of Giagos' losses come via sub. I'm going with Burns to get the early finish. Next up is Fabricio Chemos and Tony Martin, yet another fight with high finish rates on both sides. I told you this card was awesome, fight fans. Both guys coming off 2 losses back to back. This one is a bit too even for my my tastes. Campos has a shit ton of experience, but he's also 35. My guess is he will probably win, but I don't think he's worth the 5,200 with this matchup. Martin could steal the upset, but it's just not worth the risk. I'd only pick on this one if you didn't have any other option. All right, moving on, we got Fabio Maldonado taking on Hans Booby Stringer. Both of these guys have a lot of experience, but Stringer only has one fight in the UFC. Both of these guys finish fights. Maldonado lands a shit ton of significant strikes per minute. He's got big fight experience, and he can take an ass whooping better than Homer Simpson. I'm looking for Maldonado to feed off the crowd here and win big early. Next up, we're looking at now Yuki Kotana and Jan Cabral. I love this fucking fight. Kotana has been all around the world and fought 5 million times. Both of these guys are submission machines. I don't think anybody's getting KO'd here. I think we see a ground battle and somebody is getting tapped. Kotani is a steal. A fucking steal here because he's got so much fucking experience and he's a proven finisher time and time again. I know he's been around since Noah fought the dinosaurs, but at 4,300, if you're needing to spend a bunch on another fighter later, Kotani is your guy. All right, so coming up next, we got Darren Elkins versus Lucas Martins. This one looks like a solid pick here, fight fans. Martins has a high finish rate, high landed significant strikes per minute. His only loss is to Barbosa. If you can afford the 5,100, I think it would be a good call to go with Martins. Moving along, Scott Jorgensen is taking on Wilson Hayes. Both are 50-50 when it comes to getting stops, so it's not really a matchup we're looking for when it comes to counter moves, especially on this card. Jorgensen lands twice as many strikes per minute, but I think it's too close to call. If I had to pick, I would go with Jorgensen, but this is a fight I would avoid. Which leads us to the big one, the main event, Jose Aldo defending his title against Chad Money Mendez. Fight fans, I know a bunch of you are going to want to pick on this one, and I can't stress enough that this fight needs to be avoided if you're going to win your tournament. You're probably thinking, hey, the first time they fought, Aldo won in the first round against Mendez, this is a lock. Wrong. It's not even close. 4 of Aldo's 6 UFC wins are decisions. Neither of these fighters have a high enough finish rate for this to be a must on this card. Their stats are so evenly matched, it's hard to say one fighter has an advantage over the other. Aldo hasn't lost since 2005 and never at featherweight, but Mendez has been on a tear since losing to Aldo with 3 first-round finishes. This fight could easily go the distance, and Aldo is way too pricey for a guy who only has 2 finishes in the UFC. Avoid the main event, fight fans. The only way this one makes sense is if you take Mendez because he's a steal at 4,600 with his recent finish rate post-Coach Bang. All right, once you've looked at all your options, pick your team of 5 fighters. I'm going with Burns, Maldonado, Kotani, Feely, and Padalino. Once you're satisfied, hit play now. Invite all your friends. Come fight night. You can check out how you're doing against everybody else throughout the night. You know you're getting this card, fight fans. And if you were on the fence, let me tell you, playing counter-move games will make watching this card at least 2 to 30 times more fucking awesome. You're invested in every fight when you play counter-move. I'll be cheering as much during the Padalino fight as I am the title fight because I could win a bunch of fucking money. Add in some friends playing against you, and I'm telling you, fight fans, it's the most fucking fun you'll ever have watching the fights. So jump in my game, jump in your own game, jump in any fucking game you want, just jump in something at countermove.com. For everybody Triple THS, I'm Tommy Toehold. I will see you on the leaderboards, fight fans. I am currently #1 on the least liked MMA cartoon board.